my sentence. I feel so weak when I miss with the sentence debuffs, but I forget my skills do a lot of damage anyway, so. Alrighty, yo, what is up, Knights? Aegis Rick here, back with some more DFO PvE on my Elven Knight. In the last video, guys, we handled the first two stages of the power station, and I'm going to take on the next two. We're doing full clear, so this time we're going to jump into the Trombe power plant, which is, like I mentioned in the last two, a different kind of energy source, this time being electrical power plant, so let's go check it out. Alrighty, guys, the Trombe power plant, it is indeed electrical power plant, and I do really like that theme about these stages. You know, it's not just, you know, the same looking stages. They're all pretty unique looking from each other, and the bosses as well are different, so these little things. I mean, they more or less, you're still fighting the same enemies, but you see right there we got like electrical wires we got to deal with. So one thing I didn't mention actually in the power station, there's this feature in the game, or in these stages alone, that these orbs spawn for enemies that you kill. If you run into these orbs, well, I failed to demonstrate that there, but if you run into those orbs, you actually get your MP drained. So if you keep running into them, if you're not careful about it, you will not have any MP. Now, that being said, Elven Knight has no problem whatsoever dealing with that, just because she has her awakening and she doesn't have to really worry about that. So, but that being said, if you're not playing a class that can recover HP or MP at like a whim, then watch out for those things. So in other stages, there are also some like vents that will shoot out like fire. Try not to step over those, because those do a lot of burn damage, and you know, obviously if you're not tanky enough, you can't handle taking too many of those. So that's all to say that you know, you can't really go through mindlessly anymore with these stages. A lot more stage hazards than there used to be. I say a lot more, they're not too many more. This one in particular, like I said, the wire thing, if you step in front of the wires, they do shoot these electrical pulses out there. So but just be a little bit more mindful about your surroundings, I guess. Again, like I said, not too important, but yeah, I actually missed with the debuff I wanted to get right there. And right there, you can see my mana is actually pretty low, just because I've been hitting those orbs too many times. Right there, hit the sentence debuff, and now he's gonna regret it, and actually killed him already. So sentence debuff, guys, I mentioned in the last video, pretty devastating. And here we fought the mini boss, but we'll be fighting him again. So, or I guess similar kind of guy. Get wrecked. You can see this like elusive enemy right here. It really is just like a, you can't move. It's like a plant you gotta kill. Which normally you don't have to kill the plants. Although then again, he is an enemy. I think he does shoot a projectile or something underneath your feet, so careful for that. The music, man, the music has been rock, like heavy, hard rock music ever since we've gotten into this area. Like, this is how you know we're in the end game here, guys. And here you guys can see there's a new item, a rare item called Magtonium. As far as I know, I mean, it's pretty rare. They come from these rocks. They also come from enemies in the next stages, but as far as I know, I don't know any other use for them aside from that you need 50 of them for a quest. And in the last dungeon that we actually did, not this one, but the one in the last video. So you needed 50 of them, and that's it. That's the only source I've seen that you need them for. So there might be another use later on, but as far as I know, that's only one. So try to rack them up, because it's an epic quest that requires the 50 Magtoniums. And you see, in this stage, it's actually probably the most abundant stage you can get them in. So just keep breaking these rocks whenever you see them, these red-looking ones. And pretty high chance of dropping in this stage, actually. So if you're gonna be farming them, I'd say this stage or the special dungeon probably be the best places to do it. So just throwing that out there. Maybe if you're having trouble farming them, maybe get a one level higher and then do the next dungeon, which is kind of weird. They haven't really done that before. You can get them in any of the 4 stages. I'm just saying this one's probably the best one. And we are actually working this boss. This is the actual boss. Okay, there you go. And he does this attack that heals a little bit. We can actually kill this mini boss. I don't know. I don't really know the point. He's dead, so He does the electro attack, will heal you, also damages you. I miss with my sentence. I feel so weak when I miss with the sentence debuffs, but I forget my skills do a lot of damage anyway. So, anyway, guys, that was a pretty quick run of that stage. Full clear yet again. And guys, we're going to jump into the last normal stage before the special dungeon, which, guys, like I said, I think I've already mentioned that the special dungeon in this region, the power station, is my favorite dungeon in the game, and hopefully I'll be able to show that after this next dungeon, which is going to be, I think, the nuclear power plant, I think is what they were going with here. That was electrical power plant. This looks like a nuclear, like, reactor or some shit, you know, from Star Trek or something. So we're going to go check out the Grandine power plant. Let's do it. Alrighty, guys, this is the last area. It is the Grandine power plant, the last new dungeon that's been added to the game after the time gate update. Pretty cool music in here too. So you guys can see the stages themselves are not that long. This one in particular has a different kind of gimmick to it than the normal ones. The other ones were pretty straightforward, right? You just rush to the boss. The layout is still the same every time, but this one has a much more open layout. We're going to do a full clear anyway, but the gimmick is there are 2 reactors that cover the door to the front, to the boss, the front door to the boss. So you have to break the 2 reactors before you're allowed entrance to the boss, and the problem is this is a pretty wide stage, but the reactors are randomly generated, so you could either, the only way I mean, there's no real way to speedrun this dungeon. You just got to find the reactors in one of these rooms that are adjacent to the path to the boss, and hopefully you get the 2 reactors if you're trying to speedrun. Obviously full clear, so it doesn't matter, but it's a pretty interesting little gimmick to it. It's kind of like the Tyrant's lair, or whatever it was called, where we had to find the correct boss. There were 4 bosses, we had to find the correct one. This is much the same kind of gimmick, where it's the boss itself can only be accessed through RNG a little bit, so until we find the reactor. We haven't found any yet, so get wrecked. Some of these mobs are literally just rocks. Like moving rocks. What are we doing? We still haven't found one. Oh my god. They're pretty big. You can't miss them is what I'm trying to say here, so. And let's actually break some of these rocks. Didn't pick up any magtoniums. This one, I have a feeling that some of the stages have a higher drop rate for that magtonium than others. For instance, the last one we just did, the electrical power plant, I feel doesn't, or it has a really high drop rate, where all the rest of the dungeons, I just don't feel it's as potent. And we found a reactor, guys, so it's guarded by this giant Votura guy, which actually feeds off of the energy of the reactor. You can only actually damage him once you break the reactor, so as far as I know, there's that guy. And did I lose my chain rush? Okay, no, I just suck. There you go. Let's turn this back on. That's actually a new change, you know. I didn't mention it when I was showing my build in the last video, but that's one change that I did make, is that my super armor is now max level, which is a max level of 20. And I think you can only achieve that once you hit like 82 or 83. Actually, 83 I think is the level. So this is actually the boss, but you got to defeat this little room first. But as I was saying, I got the super armor buff max level. The thing is, the duration increases by a significant amount. In fact, it's still on. It has a duration of like 53 seconds. And the cooldown is like 43 seconds. So you can imagine there's only a 10-second downtime where you're not going to have super armor, which is really nice. Before, I used to keep this skill level 1. And in fact, if you guys actually look at the bottom over here, you can see I can take either I have the cooldown of the duration of the super armor run out, or I take 39 hits for the super armor to finally just give out. That never happens though. So like, I used to keep it level 1 because the duration that the downtime is in is always 10 seconds, no matter what level it is. So if I get a longer duration of super armor, the cooldown gets longer, so by an equal amount. So just throwing that out there, that you can keep the super armor level 1 if you want, and you'll just have to keep reactivating it. It's kind of like a convenience thing. Also take 50% less damage while it's on, so might as well. Anyway, guys, we worked that boss mad quick, yo. But guys, I just wanted to showcase all 4 dungeons, or the new dungeons in the Power Station region. There's still one left, so check out that video coming soon, guys, about the bonus stage or the special dungeon in the Power Station. And as I keep mentioning, as I keep building up, it's one of my favorite stages in the game, and there's a reason, guys. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys stick around to see the slope power plant escape. Catch you guys next.